Hello and welcome to this historic best of three, there we go, deck tech and gameplay video on an update to Hammertime. Hammertime is a list that gets its name really from Colossus Hammer, and wanting to attach Colossus Hammer to various creatures. In this case we have cards like Fireblade Charger, Fervent Champion, and even Kimba's Outfitter. Amongst other creatures as well, but basically we want to attach a hammer or other various equipment we like onto creatures that like to be enchanted or equipped. There we go. Equipped ideally. If not, even then, some of our backup creatures are perfectly acceptable things to also attach weapons to, because they can still do damage and, win you games. Now, the deck, we sort of talked about what its parts are. We have cards like we have equipment cards like Colossus Hammer and Shadow Spear, which are some pretty good ones and see play in other formats versions of Hammertime. Copies of Swiftfoot Boots to give haste and hexproof, all things we enjoy. And we have two newer cards that really are two new equipments that made me want to really try this list out. With Final Fantasy, we have the Buster Sword, basically beyond buffing creatures, lets you sometimes draw cards and cast things for free, which is nice. And Stormforged Armor, which is a free equipment cost, and whenever the thing attacks, you summon a ball of lightning, which again is more damage and more pressure, which the deck loves. We also have some cards that don't care about being equipped themselves, but care about equipment in one way or another, like Cloud and Stoneforge Mystic. These are basically tutors for whatever particular enchantment we need, and whatever extra effects they have are just that, they're extra. We also have SRAM to get card draw when we cast equipments, and Kimba's Outfitter to reduce the equip cost of our equipment, which is fantastic. Also have Get Lost and some Sigarda's Aids as more just glue cards to hold the whole thing together. Land base, also pretty self-explanatory. We're a really aggressive deck that actually has a pretty low curve, as you can see. You just want to play lands that'll come into play untapped on turn 1, because you really want to have a 1-drop in your hand and start getting the pressure rolling really quickly. Try and hit those like turn 3 to 5 big spikes where you can like blow out your opponent in a single turn. And if you go any longer than that, you might be in trouble. But hey, that's an aggro deck. Sideboard, pretty self-explanatory, with the caveat of we tried to include some good equipment in the sideboard, just because it makes sense for what the deck wants to do. And when you have 6 tutors, as well as a card draw card that cares about your equipment, you can afford to run, quote, weird cards in your sideboard. Lion Sash is a equipment card that lets you hose on opposing players' graveyards, as well as being a creature itself. Rampaging Ferocidon because life gain exists. Witch Enchanter for destroying opposing artifacts and enchantments. And a couple Boros' Charms for all the utility a Boros Charm provides. The rest of the sideboard is various equipments. God, I always do that. Various equipments that will give us answers or protection from various colors or threats. Annoyingly, there is not a protection from white sword in the format for some goofy reason, but I'm sure they have their reasons. So we run Mithril Coat as a sort of backup for, like, a protection from white source, or as well as, Mithril Coat being a good card for a deck like this anyway. And we also have a couple One Rings to act as card draw if we need it, and also to kind of act as a fog effect, since we don't really want to take our foot off the gas. So against another opposing player, it's better to just fog for a turn or 2 if you get both One Rings. Draw some cards off the One Ring, and hopefully you can, with the card drawn and the time bought with the One Ring, you can then finish out your opponent on the next turn with whatever big scary swing like we talked about earlier. Anywho, that's all for the list. Don't forget to like the video if you like it, subscribe if you like my grab bag of content and would like to see more in the future. And if you have any sort of questions, like I don't have X or Y or other generally nice and or constructive comments, I'll do what I can to respond to what I see. Now we'll go on to game number 1. And game number 1 with our little Hammertime list. Oh, hello, sweet cat. Hello. Okay, yeah, come on. Of course, we're going to play first because we have a brain. What is our opponent? Okay, one of them. Oh, okay. There's a Yorion banana. We'll go ahead and keep this. That's fine. What? Do advantage and a fervent champion on 1. Attack. Could have played the Kimba's outfitter, but which one of those we didn't have like a what's the word? A equipment to reduce the cost of, or reduce the equip cost of, I should say. In the meantime, I didn't even pay attention. What does that land? Okay. Until I know anything better, we're just gonna do Colossus Hammer. Do the thing the deck wants to do. Don't know what our opponent's running, though. There's not a whole lot of blue-green decks floating around in the format. That's an option. Also an option. A blue-green Yorion deck. Interesting, though. I always enjoy watching people, like, try stuff. In the meantime, Kimba's outfitter. Making the Colossus Hammer. There we go. Normally, I wouldn't keep a game like this because it is sort of, you know, they scoop really early on into the game, but this is kind of what the deck wants to do. It wants to be an aggressive deck and get kills as soon as possible, and the best kill is the one your opponent inflicts on themselves. They're running blue and green, and I guess we can also include a sword here. I'm actually going to take out a couple of Colossus Hammers, only because they've seen the hammer. They know what we're going to do. They're running green, so they sure as hell have some form of, you know, artifact removal. If not in the main board, then the sideboard. So, yeah, having lost the wow factor of what the deck's trying to do, better to just, you know, fall back on a little more well-rounded deal. Play Din while it's untapped. Fervent Champion. Probably... almost certainly I'm going to play the Stoneforge Mystic next turn and actually find a, I think it's Body in Mind is the blue and green sword. Since I imagine, plan remains the same, I imagine that our opponent isn't running other colors than that. It is Body in Mind, I was right. Not going to attack. We don't want to lose the champion. I was about to say, I mean, the only option they would have for interaction is some sort of, like, Eldrazi Devoid thing. But I've learned since that only I make my colorless ramp decks Simic-based. So I'm going to assume it's not that. Okay, ooh la la, very spicy. I love this. In the meantime, Sword of Body in Mind on the champion, go face, and hopefully they don't get something big. Oh, okay. Defense of the Heart, whatever. So, okay, so it's... Okay. So it's like a... It's not a... Reanimator isn't the word. It's like a sneak attack deck. I mean, sure. Don't know if it matters. Yeah. Guess Sigarda's Aid. We'll do a Buster Sword. When it equips for free, we'll attach it to the Fervent Champion. Although even if we didn't have the aid, the champion would have allowed it to equip for free anyway. Takes a block, loses a bird. Hopefully we just mill over a lot of what the deck wants to do. Actually, I can get lost with the Buster Sword here. That's actually better. Yeah, Defense of the Heart. That's what we're most scared of, by a wide margin. And now we just sit. I love our opponent's deck, unironically. Basically, it is basically sneak attack in a format that doesn't have sneak attack. And what's the red one? I think it's like an enchantment for 4 mana, and then for like a red, you can like cheat a thing into play and sack it at the end of the turn. What is the name of that card? Oh well. And there's no like Goryo's Vengeance or anything, so like you gotta get your cute decks where you can. In the meantime, play Cloud, which is effectively another copy, as we talked about in the deck tech. Is another copy of whatever enchantment or equipment. God, I do it all the time. Whatever equipment that you need, as well as just being a body with extra effects. And honestly, pretty good showing for the list. And I guess we'll go on now to game number 2. And game number 2 with our Hammertime list. And again, we play first because we have a brain. That's so tempting, but it's a one-lander and would be irresponsible. And we basically got there anyway. That's fantastic. We'll throw back the Fervent Champion. Now, when we play Sigarda's Aid, they're going to immediately know what's up. It's the only deck this season we play in. But one thing I also wanted to talk about while we're here in more of the setup turn, or we're in the setup turns. Okay, this might actually die. Is that, as you can see, this is actually a deck that got me to, I think it's Diamond is the name of the rank. And, like, it does speak for the quality of the list. I mean, it's pretty good. Granted, there's not a whole lot of complexity. It is, like, pretty aggressive and go in your face, but, like, there's also nothing intrinsically wrong with that. In the meantime, Fireblade Charger. Playing a Colossus Hammer, and hopefully they don't have some sort of negate, or what is that? Or a push. Okay. Yeah. A push would do it too. But we did the smart thing, and something you'll always hear me talk about is we made them have it. Of course, this is not my idea, so I can't take credit for it. But it's basically, when in doubt, especially as an aggressive player, but really as a good Magic or card player in general, sometimes you just have to accept the fact they might have it, and you have to make them have it. Because if they didn't have some sort of interaction spell, you were going to be in for a rough time there. They have a lot of interaction, which makes sense from blue and black. Really fast. Kimba's Outfitter on the hammer, making the equip cost 1. But they have a lot of interactions, so what I was going to say is that I believe with Cloud we're going to search for a Swiftfoot Boots. Helps to give our creature some protection from what they're wanting to do. Probably going to cut, again, a couple of hammers. One for the blue and black sword, whose name I can't remember. It's a newer one. And then I'll probably also bring in Mithril Coat. Just ways, because there's no, well, especially in this deck, they're going to have a lot of removal. So we kind of take what we can get. I think our plan remains largely the same, because I would be very surprised. We'll attack first. I'd be very surprised if our opponent lets this hit him. Okay, that's fine. Snapcaster into a push. Perfectly fine. I was going to say, I realized I didn't need to shock in that Sacred Foundry. That was more of a brain melty thing. But that's fine. Plan does remain the same. Cloud goes to find Swiftfoot Boots. Hopefully the boots will, and I guess we will equip it. We have nothing to do with our mana anyway, so I guess it wasn't totally useless. Okay, that's fair. But anywho, we got the boots so that we can have the hexproof. Really the hexproof more than the haste. But we have the hexproof so we don't, have to or we're less likely to have to all in on a creature. Granted, they could always, you know, kill a thing in response, but one thing at a time. Do they have it? I would not be surprised if they had it. Any secondo. Come on, brother, if you got it, run it. I mean, let's do it. Although, I suppose, if we're being honest... Yeah. That was a smart thing to do. Okay. I've realized sort of my monkey brain sort of did a bad thing. The responsible thing to do is to attack with Cloud attached with the hammer. If he goes to kill it in response, then I play the boots at instant speed thanks to the aid, which equips them and should, in theory, let the creature survive the at least that particular removal spell. They could have another one, but you know, one thing at a time. But I acknowledge that was a bad play on my part. But also, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. We'll be fine. What was that? Oh, strategic planning. What is there? Is it just like a snapcastery, like a... Yeah, it's like a Dimir kind of control-y, like an aggro-y control-y thing, maybe? Or is it just control? And Snapcaster is a good card. Okay, opponent. Oh, okay. They were manually clicking through for the treasure cruise. Gotcha. Is it anything? That's pretty good. That actually doesn't suck that much. I didn't have anything to equip the armor to anyway, so yeah. What are you gonna do? I mean, you could take the removal spell, but like, I don't think you're running that much I need to remove. Yeah, that's the smarter play. That's good. SRAM is good. Play a SRAM, immediately equip with the boots. Might as well attack while it's free. If our opponent has a sweeper, we cry. If they have Sheoldred's Edict, we also cry. But other than that, kind of okay. We have a get lost if we play something big and scary like a Sheoldred. We can equip the Colossus Hammer next turn and start really chunking our opponent, which is lovely. Artillerian Terror. But I don't need to... Yeah, I kind of don't... One, I couldn't pay the ward and do the hammer anyway. But it's not that scary that I think I need to worry. In the meantime, hammer on SRAM. The SRAMmer goes to swing. There's a world in which, yeah, I was about to say they let it through, but the Snapcaster has largely fulfilled its purpose. And it does appear to be like a Dimir control-y thing, which is honestly like really lovely. It's a really interesting list. It's like doing good. Nothing but good things to say. 100%, take the damage. Be odd to be running Sweeper's main board, but it's, you know, not so odd that it wouldn't happen. Just odd. Granted, they're a control deck with, what, 6 mana and 5 cards? Look at top 3. 1 in hand, rest in yard. That... I would not be surprised if it's a reprint for the Final Fantasy set, which is fine. They're digging, though. Have they found... Oh, pardon the yawn! Have they found the Edict? Or if they, what's... I think Damnation is the white 4-mana sweeper. It's like Doomsday or Armageddon or some equally edgelordy black name. That's hilarious. Is the 4-mana black one that got added to the format. I just can't think of what the name of the card is. It does, to its credit, have a suitably board-wipey name. Really? Gets rid of the removal. Ah! That's what we were... There we go. Well, that fucking sucks, I believe is the technical term. Sure, I guess Buster Sword. Draw. That. Okay, that would have been fantastic to have. That sucks. That would have been fantastic to have. We attack, but yeah, we do nothing and we lose. If we don't attack... Let me run through this. If we don't attack, they swing for 2, and either if I block the terror, which is the bigger blocker, I go to 1. On my upkeep, I draw a card from my draw step. Shieldred kills me. If I block Shieldred, 5 damage goes through, and I die. So that's what that is. What's the blue one? Of Once and Future. Sure. Mithril Coat. Couple Colossus Hammers going out. It's pretty good. Honestly, I think I think a champion and a charger can go, and we're going to bring in 2 Boros' Charms. If nothing else, for their permanence gaining indestructible like board wipe thing. But it can be damage over the top. Honestly, Boros Charm is one of the better charms historically in Magic. Granted, none of the charms are bad. They're all pretty good. Depends on the situation. Blah, 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 blah. But I'm almost certain Nitsahone has done a charms list. There's no way they haven't. Or he hasn't, pardon. But it's the only one that sounds good to me of the original. The Orzhov one, I might as well sit here and fill dead air. Orzhov one is so weird. It's so corner casey. If you run a lot of like auras, then fine. Is it Charm is okay? Is it Charm is like Prismari Command before Prismari existed. That one's pretty good. Azorius is one of those, like, I think it's like a gain some life, draw a card, or like put attacker or blocker on the deck. That's alright. I don't know the other ones, if I'm being entirely honest, which probably tell you about them. In the meantime, again, play first. Hi, Wiggles! Careful, careful. You guys should be careful. If you sit on the power strip and turn off the computer, I'm going to be very mad. Another one-lander that would be irresponsible to keep. What, buddy? Okay, somehow got worse. That's not terrible. Charger can go. Basic can go. We'll do Forge. Or sorry, not the Charger can go. The Fervent Champion or whatever his name is. Isn't that right, buddy? We got this, Mr. Wiggles. Oh, baby boy. Land is nice. Play Cloud. Search for, I think it's Once in Future was the name, right? Oh, almost certainly is going to push the Charger in response. I would argue that's kind of bad. Goes their face. I would argue Cloud represents a bigger threat. But that's fine. Yeah, Once in Future. If Cloud lives, I think we just save the Mithril Coat as a combat trick equipment here. We don't have the mana to play the sword and equip the sword in the same turn, so we gotta kind of work up to Once in Future. That's cool. Sigarda's 8 is nice. Yeah, it's nice, but I think our plan remains the same. Because we can't do both in a turn, so it's better to just save the Mithril Coat as a combat trick. Who knows if it works, but yeah, we'll get there when we get there. Yeah. God, I want to do that so bad. Battlefield Forge, Sigarda's Aid. Hi, Wiggles. Where's my bubby boy? Oh, the chin chopper? Okay, I can fight the chin choppers. Good boy. Ah, fucking that. I hate that fucking card so much, man. God damn, that's such a boring card. Oh, the chin chopper rubs. Who's a good doggy? Who's a good dog? Good boy. I love you. Yeah. Once and future is more important. Play it out now. If they have Spell Pierce or some like similar effect, then cool. It sucks to suck. Get the fuck out of here with Spell Pierce. Alright, at least I called it. Alright, that makes it feel a little better. That makes it sting a little less. Spell Pierce has not seen a whole lot of play. Whatever. Oh boy. The Lord of the Rings, like 1 mana blue, counter a spell that costs like 2 or less or some shit. Whatever the name of that card is like kind of quote unquote replaced Spell Pierce. I guess we'll crack a canyon for a land for a card. Pardon. Oh boy, the raid. Nothing to play with said aid, so it's less good. Oh well. I mean, if we're being honest, we're in a really rough spot. And to be fair, this is like how you answer Hammertime. Even in testing, it's been how you answer it. You can do all the really, really cute stuff. Nice. But if you know, are smart about it and patient, you can always basically mess this deck up on the stack. On the stack is where this deck lives and dies. And I don't... The only answer would be like split second cards. Okay. Please be careful around the chords, buddy. But I don't think any split... Let me rephrase that question. I don't think any of the split second cards that Historic as a format has access to, one, would make sense, and two, they're like really not that good. I think Croson Grips in the format, but we're also not that color, so...
My prowess is unmatched.
I guess... Yeah, I gotta get rid of Narset. Narset is one of those cards that I, for whatever reason... Oh, the Ritual of Soot. For whatever reason, my brain just always forgets exist. Especially after it's gotten the 2 draws out of itself. It sucks. Okay. Let's see what we draw. Well, Boros Charm is not that. But it's something. If you have another Spell Pierce, I was about to say, I'm just gonna scoop. On no. Getting impatient, Max. Don't, especially against a black deck, don't draw on your turn, draw on their turn. They even have shown that they have like duresses and shit. So they like also are running discard stuff. Again, we're in an absolutely awful spot. That Ritual of Soot is gonna get us. We've lost our Mithril Coat and our Once and Future. So we kind of have to like kill him in a turn. I'm just gonna go ahead and crack now. They've let's draw first. They've tapped out, so I don't have to worry about losing whatever. Sorry. Well, okay, no, they've shown a lot of ability to get stuff out of their yard. Honestly, if we're being honest, the game is probably over. Yes, I could sit there and keep chipping and chipping away and maybe getting it, but we'd really just be dying a slow death, and it would take a long time to, you know, actually die. But in a moment like that, if we're being honest, the game is basically over, even if it isn't actually over. But still, Hammertime has been an absolute ball of a list. I've done basically a Hammertime list in the past. I will do them again. They're fun lists. They're honestly like pretty effective, as you can see by the diamond tier. Granted, I haven't climbed a whole lot into diamond, but even getting to diamond with the deck, especially for me, is kind of saying something about like the quality of the deck. It's not like a Hearthstone where there's win streak bonuses, so you can't super trust like the strength of a deck by the rank you find it in. In Magic, or on Arena, I should say, if you find a deck in a particular rank bracket, it kind of tells something about, or should tell something about the deck. Anywho, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video if you like it. Subscribe if you like my grab bag of content and would like to see more in the future. And if you have any sort of questions like, I don't have X, what about Y? The deck is pretty flexible. I would argue Cloud, Stoneforge, Mystic, probably Colossus Hammer are the only ones that are truly required. Sigarda's Aid, you can make an argument, is also kind of required, but like, you can live without it. Or if you only have like 1 or 2 Sigarda's Aid and you send your like a little shy on wild cards, like you can get away with having a couple Sigarda's Aids, and as opposed to all 4. But beyond that, just run, you know, some pretty good creatures that like to be equipped, and equipment that you like, that you find are giving you like a good amount of interaction and options against a wide variety of decks, because that's really what you're looking for in a ladder deck. Anywho, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.